Well, hey, everybody, welcome back to We Know Texas Vino. We are so excited to be here. My name is Michael.
That's Will.
And you know what, Will? I think we need a little vivacious attitude in this podcast.
I think you're right. I mean, we're missing something.
Who's that
here.
girl over there?
I don't know. Some stranger over there.
Hey, guys.
Hey, it's Jen. Hey, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. And this is We Know Texas Vino.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Hey, Will, we made it down here safely, buddy. You see that new car I've been driving?
Man, it made me jealous. I looked at my truck. I looked at your car.
That's my wife's new Camaro SS. It's a pretty sweet ride. So we drove down from Dallas today down here to Ovilla, Texas, and it was supposed to be about 52 minutes. We made it in 20. So not really.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that.
Nice drive.
Not in front of him.
It was a lot of fun. Well, we're back for episode 29 of We Know Texas Vino. We're super happy to be here at Cassaro Winery and Vineyards with the owner, John Matthews. I believe his wife, Jill, is also a big part of that. And so we're going to have a good time today with episode 29. Can you believe it's episode 20? We're on the cusp of hitting 30, which is just fantastic.
And it's just crazy. Today we just published, which is what today is July 9th. We just published our 25th episode.
Right.
And with that 25th episode is our halfway mark for the year.
Our goal.
I know our goal was be 52 episodes.
Right.
And since we started 2 weeks late of the year, so our goal is 52.
The 50 is pretty impressive for our first year podcasting. And today's a special day as well. Why is it special today? What's going on here today?
Well, we're actually doing a video live broadcasting right now.
Okay. First time on Facebook, I believe. So that's pretty, or is it YouTube? One of the two. We're on something over there.
Facebook.
So it's Facebook. There you go. Well, great. Well, we're going to have a great time today. So we have a couple sponsors real quick. Let's kick those out because we're so proud of those relationships. First one, of course, is Texas Wine Lover and, of course, the website. We love that group of people. They're tremendous. And, of course, they've taken care of us. But today's podcast is Texas Wine Lover. So that's pretty fun.
Yes, it was. And we want to give a shout out to the Godfather.
And Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Amy.
Amy. Yeah. And then we talk to us about our second sponsor real quick.
Our second sponsor is Texas Wine Club.
Yeah.
They are an amazing service out there. If you want to taste wine from different parts of Texas.
Yes.
That's the place to go.
Yeah.
Sign up. You can do 3, 6, 12-month subscription.
Yeah.
And if you do go to the website and sign up and you type in We Know Texas Vino, all one word, your first shipment's 50% off.
That's spectacular. So we're so pumped. And John, we have a great relationship with all those folks and we're just promoting them big time. And of course they do the same. They reciprocate. They take care of us as well, right?
Oh, yeah.
Let's get after this. Well, welcome, John. Hey, thanks for inviting us to your amazing establishment here. And, real quick, let's just jump into this. Tell us about yourself and your family.
Well, glad to have you here at
you.
Cassaro Winery and Vineyard. We started the vineyard in 2014. 2015 kind of really brought in a lot of vines. Surprised my wife when about 500 rootstock showed up. Yeah. That's grown to about 2,000 vines since that time. We grow Sangiovese, Tempranillo, and El Brejino, and they work really well. People ask me, why do you grow those? That's what grows in my soil. So based on the terroir here, that's what really grows well for us. And we use those grapes, and we really specialize on the Italian wines. My family is from Italy. My grandfather from Sicily. My grandmother's family is from Naples. And we've been doing wine for a long time. And so we specialize, especially in the dry reds. And that's kind of where my wheelhouse is. We have sweets, we have dries, we have white and red, but the dry reds, I think we're kind of known for, done really well in international competitions. So really proud of that. Have in November, passed over 100 international medals.
Wow.
And so our Dolcetto, our Montepulciano, our Sangiovese, great Italian varietals that are outstanding. And some of the blends that we've made too have really kind of taken the wine club members, our wine club members, and they've embraced it. They love it. They enjoy it. And we want everybody to come here and feel like family. When I go to Italy, when I'm with my family, my friends, everybody is so generous, and we sit around, we eat, we drink, and we just enjoy each other's company. And with my background, 40 years in law enforcement, and what I've seen all over the nation, kind of man's worst inhumanity to man. It's really nice to be here, to serve wine, to see people laugh and happy. And that's what it's about. Coming here, enjoying a good glass of wine, listening to music on Friday and Saturday evenings, and having some great imported meats and cheeses. It's just fun here at Cassaro. What can I tell you?
Well, you have great energy for sure. And I think you bring that. But how interesting is that you were in law enforcement for 40 years, and we talked pregame about some of the things we've gone through. We know some of the same people up in Alaska with law enforcement, and of course some of the areas you've been. But then to bring the other side of this beautiful world, and that is this kindness and fun. And wouldn't you agree that the wine world, the wine community is really a lot of fun, and your attitude, your behavior, I mean, you fit right in, brother. Great.
It is fantastic. Every time I go to a wine conference and we start drinking at 9 a.m. and doing tastings and enjoying the world of wine, I think, oh my gosh, what did I do for the last 4 decades?
What was I thinking?
I was going to law enforcement conferences and talking about murders. So
oh my goodness.
Let me tell you, though, it's a great reprieve for me. It's a great way to kind of embrace what I've done, my culture, making wine for most of my life, but giving it to just friends and clients and family. And now, like I said, when we're up to 2,000 vines in the vineyard, making it and seeing people enjoy it here, there's nothing better. There's nothing better. Coming in, they're smiling, they're happy. I'm like, this is wonderful.
That's why you're doing it.
And that's why everybody does wine, because I won't say everybody, but most of the winemakers out there, they do that because they love the camaraderie that comes with making wine. We joke about this several times. You don't see bar fights at a winery.
No, never.
Yeah, he's not expecting one tonight.
And there's a passion.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
There's a passion for making wine, making good wine, talking to people when they come in. They want to hear the story. They want to know what's going on. They look around. We have we took a 1910 farmhouse that we purchased that had been handed down in the same family since the 1880s. This was the headquarters of a huge ranch down here. And we're only about 21 minutes south of downtown Dallas.
Right.
So when folks go, where is Ovilla? We're right off at 35, off at 20 and 287.
Sure.
You can get to us easy.
Yeah.
But this used to be a huge ranch. We've got 3 acres now, beautiful pecan trees, a creek out back, multiple gazebos. But we took this Texas farmhouse and turned it into a Tuscan farmhouse. And I actually brought back pictures from the places that I stay with my friends in Tuscany at their farmhouses and said, this is what we want it to look like. And it turned out wonderful. And before we opened, I sat here and I was kind of amazed at what the contractor did. And I said, I've got my Tuscan farmhouse. I got 12,000 liters of wine. I've got my imported meats and cheeses. I'm happy if nobody shows up.
Italy and Texas, all right here, baby. That's awesome.
And that's amazing that you did that. And it takes a dream that you want to do something and accomplish, and you have to have that desire to push for that dream to come true.
Sure.
And you did it. I applaud you for it.
And his quote on his website, family and friends are the heart and soul of Cassaro Wine. So it is only appropriate that all of our wines are meant for sharing those special moments with those that we hold dear. So that's kind of your philosophy here. I can tell already, just meeting you briefly, that is definitely a great philosophy. So you were in law enforcement, and you have the ups and downs of law enforcement. I actually have a little bit of family history in there as well. I know the downside to that. It can be very depressing. Mm-hmm. Was wine maybe an escape for you a little bit to kind of get away from that oftentimes miserable world and get into something more delightful?
No,
have you been doing that for a while?
It certainly was. My specialty in law enforcement, being here for the entire career, has been serial killers, mass shooters. It's the worst part of mankind, and having the winery and seeing the people and enjoying the people, it is a therapy for me. And going out in the vineyard and getting lost in the vineyard,
good for you.
Coming off the road, working on really horrific events that we have around the country, training law enforcement, coming back and then getting lost in the vineyard. And I'll be out there for hours, pruning vines or working out there. So it definitely was an escape. So the vineyard is one side of it. And then the winery and enjoying people is certainly another side of it.
It's a healing. That's a healing moment for him, for sure. So, so that's amazing. So, you obviously have some Italian roots here, and so you've done a great job with the farmhouse and everything. But you're actually literally, as far as I can tell, Will, all the places we've been, I haven't really sensed that they're bringing this amazing Italian, historical perspective to their winery and wines. But you're doing that, aren't you? That's very intentional.
Yes, of course, it's intentional. And even if you look at our labels from the first year we started, we wanted to highlight Cassaro, the family name. And then we've expanded on the labels every year since then, because we want everything rooted in Italian heritage, Italian tradition. We want, again, there is nothing better than going to Italy and feeling like family, people you've never met before. And you go in and you visit with them and they serve you wine and food. Absolutely exceptional. When folks come here, I'm always popping out of the kitchen and saying, how about if you try this? Or we made a new dish, or I've got a new wine and let's all try it together. Let's see if we really like it.
Oh, that's great.
Experimenting with blends or whatever. And so when the folks come here and really see that experience, I think they do feel like family.
Nice. So when you got some new food you want us to try out, just give us a call. We'll be over in just a minute.
Yeah, well, listen, I have that all the time. As a matter of fact, during COVID, when everything was shut down in quarantine, I'd be posting, I'm sitting here at the winery. I'm drinking wine.
Very nice.
I've got and people would call and say, can we come and be quarantined with you? Because what a great place to be, right?
I mean, you can't argue with that.
No, you've got meat, cheese, bread, wine. What else do you need?
Wow. And good friends.
Yes,
good friends out. Can't leave that out.
And that's what we want to feel. We want everyone to come here and feel like they're home, that they can come here and just relax, enjoy themselves, get away from everything.
Right.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So pause for a minute. Erica, can you walk in there and maybe just have them?
Just tell Joe to stop. I don't think he knows we're recording.
It's okay.
Yeah, I can hear the clanging.
That's all right.
It's all right.
He's great at editing. So are we back?
Yeah, we're back.
Very good.
Yeah.
A little pause there for a minute. Awesome. So we're great in this Cassaro Wines and Vineyards. So tell us about your property then. So do you have vines on this property, or is that at a different location?
No. The vines are about 2 minutes from here on our home property. We've got about 15 acres. And so we've subdivided that property into vineyard, warehouse, production space. And then we've got 3 acres here where we host weddings and events with hundreds of people. We've had all kinds of reunions, weddings, and things here at the winery. We finish the wine here. We do everything by hand. The bottling, labeling, capsuling, everything we do here. So from the vineyard, I was out there this morning watering by hand. The whole vineyard is irrigated, but I've got a little test section now that I put in of some new vines, and I was out there hand watering the little babies, trying to get them to grow and nurturing them a little bit. It is from planting the rootstock to serving the finished wine to the customers. We do everything.
I don't know how much you know about history, European history, but he's got total Italian in him. Hand watering the vines. I just had this vision of me, down in Naples, which I've been to Naples, and it's so spectacular. That's cool.
I'll have to say this. I've got some vines planted in my backyard right now, and I'm aspiring to be a winemaker and grape grower also. And so I know what it's like to go out there and hand grow those things. And actually, I've got my trellis put up right now, and I got some of the vines that don't want to grow on the trellis. They want to do their own little thing. So I go out there and I talk to them. I said, look here, y'all got to do this right.
I tell people it's like raising children. And for the first 3 years, that's what you're doing. You're nurturing them. You're helping them grow. You're training them.
Programming.
No, we need to grow straight. We got to have a straight trunk. Okay, the cordons, they've got to be perfect. I want you guys to cooperate. But yes, the vines have a mind of their own sometimes, like a lot of 2 and 3 year olds.
That's right. And fasten your seatbelt. Don't ride on the wall. Eat your dinner. Don't throw the fork over there.
There you go. So, but that's the fun part of it. Yes, that's the fun part of it. I was out in one of the new sections of the vineyard this week and looking at some of the new vines and how we're training them and how they're growing. And it's all a part of the experience. It's all a part of the story. And I try to embrace every little aspect of it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it says here that you have an Italian tasting experience in Texas. So is that your main goal, or talk to us about the Texas connection now? You're in Texas and you're trying to create a Texas atmosphere.
We're using Texas grapes.
Yep.
We're growing our own grapes.
Okay.
We're getting grapes from the high plains. We try to feature every place we can Texas wine. So it's blending Texas wines with Italian heritage.
Okay.
So I'm taking some of the best Dolcetto, Montepulciano, Sangiovese grapes that Texas has to offer.
Okay,
and we
very
do
good.
a really good job of that. We have some great Italian varietals here. And working with those grapes and trying to make the best most authentic Italian wine that I can make. And I have friends that have come over from Italy, and I love it. It's absolutely amazing when they come over and they drink my wine, because I'm used to going to them.
This is exciting. Okay.
And they come drink my wine. I've had friends in from Sicily and Milan and Calabria and Tuscany, and they go, John, this is so good. We want to take it home.
Wow.
So I'm really pleased about that, that folks can come here and kind of get an authentic experience, get really good quality wine, and enjoy themselves.
That's the ultimate goal. I would imagine being here in Texas, you have this Italian, connection. For them to come here and be so impressed, that's got to feel good, brother. I mean, that there's got to be an uplifting. You get up every morning, go to your vineyard feeling, right? That's a good deal.
Yeah. And we, I do have some other varietals. It's not just all Italian. I had a lady in here 2 days ago from France, spoke very little English. Her daughter was with her, and I gave her some Cabernet, and she liked it. I said, "Hey, I did a little blend. It's the only French blend I've ever made of our Cabernet and our Tannat. See if she likes it." She loved it.
That's great.
And so when you have that experience in your tasting room, it's just really, really pleasing.
Yeah, for sure. And so what does your day look like then, John? Are you retired now from the police world? No, the whole day, I know.
Yeah, it'll be 40 years in March.
Okay.
I'm not retired yet.
Oh, wow.
So my typical Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday is a lot of travel around the country, teaching law enforcement about preventing mass shootings, working on law enforcement trainings, de-escalation. We work in all 50 states. Thursday through Sunday, I'm usually here at this tasting room in Ovilla. We also have a tasting room in Corsicana.
I wrote that down.
Beautiful 1871 building, original railroad depot. The bottom floor is like a wine cellar. The top floor, the old hotel, 1 million windows, light, airy, beautiful bar up there. Double the space we have here in Ovilla. So Ovilla and Corsicana, you have Cassaro Wines. And so Thursday through Sunday, I'm usually at one of the wineries, or I'm making wine or blending wine, or I'm in the vineyard, or a typical day, I'm doing a little bit of everything. The best days for me is when I have to change clothes 3 or 4 times. Right?
That's beautiful. Yeah.
I'll put my suit on after this. We have a True Crime and Wine next.
Yeah.
It's a big feature of ours. So usually on Saturday or Sunday, I'm doing one of those at either location. I was already out in the vineyard this morning, and not my suit, right?
No, not a suit.
But I've been known to do that too. Yeah. And so it's a great day. It's a great day when you get to change clothes a lot and do a lot of different things. So my days are very, very different. And when we have an incident around the country, for the last 25 years, I've been the law enforcement analyst for both CNN and Fox News.
I read that, yeah.
And so I do a lot of work on national news and internationally. A lot of folks know me. I do a lot with BBC and several of the international networks. So awesome. A typical day, getting up, watering vines. What I do, made a big brunch for the family, came here to do a podcast. I'll do a True Crime and Wine tonight. I'll be on the computer later on this evening, working on wine projects. And then tomorrow morning, first thing, turning right back around and in the law enforcement mode and trying to save lives.
So I have 2 points for that. One, I missed the day off of the week that you talked about. I think he was going to maybe mention that there was a day. No, on our live stream, they can see him do it, shaking his head this way.
No, Mike, doesn't happen.
But the second point is you are very high energy, and that is very, very good. It reminds me of myself a little bit. I'm just type A. I always want to get things going. I always have a project I need to do. Very high energy. That is a blessing for you, sir, because you obviously are very busy. You're very professional. I've actually seen you on a national program now that I think about it. And so how do you balance it all, brother? What do you do to stay even?
I think balancing, working on everything helps me to get an even keel. So obviously my law enforcement background and what I do with mass shootings around the country is balanced out a little bit at the winery. But I find that the more projects that I'm working on, I'm able to not only physically change clothes, but wear a different hat, you might say.
Okay.
And that really kind of keeps me energized. So this week I'll be doing law enforcement work Monday through Wednesday, taking off Wednesday night, going to Austin. And as the incoming president of the Texas Wine and Grape Growers Association, testifying down there this week, turning back around in time to get back to the tasting room for a little concert on Thursday night, and then back into the wine stuff for the rest of the weekend. So I think all of it together keeps me balanced and even, and it also keeps me energized because I can, like I said, change hats, and I, kind of decompress from one side of it and get energized about the other side of it.
No, I want to point something out real quick. You said you're the president of the Texas Grape Growers Association.
The incoming president.
Incoming. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes, I was sworn in March of this year, and then I'll take over as president next February.
So do you get your own little personal bodyguards and Secret Service top?
President, yeah, you have your own little office and special pens.
But I don't have to worry about that, if you know what I mean.
Exactly.
That is true.
Well, if you need a bodyguard, I used to do bouncer one time.
Oh, yeah. I think he's got 40 years of experience.
I think I can handle that.
Yeah. And so talk about your family real quick. I know Jill is your wife, and so your family's probably also a really great part of your even keeled presence, and they probably bring you down and in a beautiful way, because you're high strung here, but they're probably the ones who give you balance. Tell us about your family and how are they involved?
And they're involved in the business.
Okay.
The family is really involved in the business. My wife, Jill, she's the CFO. She does all the back office stuff for us, takes care of all the financials and that. My son, Michael, manages the Corsicana operation.
Okay.
He's down there 3-4 days a week in Corsicana, building that business, the tasting room, the event space, and all that.
Great.
My son Joseph is here in Ovilla, running the Ovilla location. Okay. My daughter Isabella, she's always at the winery helping out. She's the youngest one, and she knows the computer better than anyone.
Beautiful.
I think. So, when you need a technical person, call a young person.
That is absolutely true, brother.
Yeah, but even my 3 older kids are involved in different ways. My daughter helps us with social media. My son helps us with website stuff. So everybody has a role kind of in the family. And that's the great thing. And I was actually talking to another winemaker the other day, and he's coming to the end of his kind of career, looking towards retirement and everything. And he's like, I have no one to give it to.
Oh.
And so it was kind of, upsetting that he didn't have anyone that wanted to take it over and all that. So for me, it's really pleasing when I see my son's excited about it. My daughter, my wife, they're into it. They're having fun. They're enjoying it. And we try to not just do work. Okay. So when we won some medals down in Houston, at the big wine competition in Houston.
Yes.
We all went down there, spent the night, had a great time at the event prior to the wine competition and everything, so that they get to see the fun side of it. So I think it's really important that we incorporate that fun aspect into it. Right. And it's not just all work, all grapes, all winery, all the time.
That's a great perspective. And I think it's cool that you're creating that legacy for your family, but also you really, and just getting to know you here shortly, you really have a great presence of knowing your priorities and being very intentional. And so having your family involved is a blessing, of course, but also the legacy part of it. Are they very excited about continuing on, perhaps from that Italian roots in the turn of the century on into the next century? Is that something they're very excited about?
I think they are. I think they're excited about it. And I always tell them, listen, you can do what you want. You're your own person. You can walk away at any time. You can leave. But if you want to stay, if you want to run this, the opportunity is there. I used to have a ranch, and on the ranch I had about 200 paper shell pecan trees. And I was going to one of the places where we purchased pecan trees from one day. And I was in line, and I'm buying some new seedlings and stuff. And I see another guy, and he must have been in his 80s, and he's buying some seedlings. And I said, I couldn't get my arms around it, because it really takes 20 years before that pecan tree is established and growing and everything.
I did not know that.
And I said, I can't help but wonder, you're buying these young pecan trees. And he said, they're not for me. And that really brought it into perspective that, sometimes we try to do things a little, for the future, for our future generations. And so hopefully a little bit of that will carry on.
That's super exciting. Well, let's talk real quick about the grapes you're using. So where are you getting grapes from outside of your own personal, of course, vineyard? Are you utilizing those? Are you outsourcing? How do you create your wines?
Well, so we have both our grapes at the vineyard, the Sangiovese, El Brajino, and the Tempranillo, but we can't support the 16 varieties that we have here at Cassaro. So we source from a number of different growers up in the high plains. We have some really great relationships with growers up there. And I love it. We'll have growers that come by every once in a while and they'll visit us here and they'll say, I want somewhere good for my grapes, and so it's kind of neat that you get a reputation out there. And I had a grower that came in, he said, I have these amazing Tempranillo grapes. They're off 25-year-old Texas Tempranillo vines. He said, they are fantastic. I want someone that will make a great wine with this. And so I enjoy that. I like amazing. That. So we have a lot of wonderful relationships with a number of growers.
That's awesome.
And that's what we utilize.
Well, first off, you speak Michael's love language over here.
I know,
you said Tempranillo. He immediately had hearts coming off of his head and everything like that because that's his favorite.
Oh, okay.
Well, I love the Texas Tempranillo.
We don't have any more. I kept it in barrel about 40
We got to stop this podcast now.
And we had some great. I do have a Tempranillo, a younger off of about a 7-leaf vine. And that's the Tempranillo we use with our UNT Tempranillo. We have 2 wines. I've got my bachelor's and master's from North Texas. I serve on the board of directors for the Alumni Association. And we have 2 wines, and the proceeds of those wines go to student scholarships.
I was wondering about that. I saw that on your website. That's pretty neat.
From us. To the kids, no middleman, anything else. We give out a lot of scholarships every year. And so hopefully that helps our up and coming students.
Absolutely. Inspire them. So I saw that on your website. You have a very awesome website. I learned a lot from it, but you've got your hands in everything, brother. Absolutely everything. And so I want to talk about your live events you have here. The first thing my wife said when we pulled in in the new Camaro is she says, look at that venue down there. She was very impressed with that. And so we pulled in and sure enough, we were spotting things and looking back and forth. So what are some of the live events you have tonight? For example, tell us about this live a real crime. Is that what it's called?
It's called True Crime Wine. So I am the only winemaker in the country, probably the world, that has ever captured a serial killer. And so this is real true crime and wine.
Okay.
So it's sold out every single time.
Wow.
We've done about 60 different sessions. We have 6 different episodes right now, trying to get it up to 8 episodes in the series. The first episode and kind of the flagship is called The Eyeball Killer.
Okay.
And it's about a serial killer that I captured in Dallas that was killing women and removing their eyes. So for the people that love the true crime podcast, love the true crime shows, I've done dozens of network shows for Discovery ID, Oxygen, just go down the list. My book has been made into a lot of other shows that all of the different network shows that you've seen. And so it's kind of cool. People come in and they drink wine and I talk about murder.
Wow.
And it's about an hour and a half session. And I try to feature really unique serial killers.
Nice.
So, my case was very, very unique. Still to this day, we do new shows every single year on it. Just did one for the BBC that came out on major networks a couple of months ago. We've got a couple more scheduled for this year. But another story that we do is called A Cup of Murder. It's a serial killer who used what? Wine to murder her victims.
Hello.
Hey, doesn't that tie in?
That will bring it all together, baby.
Today we're doing
bringing it to it.
There you go. Today we're doing Married Murderers. It's a couple who went on a 2.5-year killing spree.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
And were you involved in all those investigations?
No, it's my investigation for the first one. And then I look at crimes that I find intriguing because I don't do any of the standard stories out there that you've seen a million times. So through my research and my years of work in the field, I try to find crimes that have a unique twist to them. And that's what I present to our audience. And we do it for private corporations. I'm doing a series for UNT right now. We've sold out every session up there that we've done. And the proceeds from that go to student scholarships.
That's outstanding.
And the strangest one or most unique one, or unique, right?
I like that.
That I ever did was a wedding party that came to town, and they wanted to keep the family together because all the families were from out of state, and they wanted something different to do on the weekend. And we did a true crime and wine for the entire wedding party.
Wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
from grandma all the way down to the
That would be
matrons.
amazing.
It was great. So the true crime and wine we do here in Ovilla and in Corsicana, outdoors, like you were asking about. We have weddings. We have 300-person class reunions. We've had engagement ceremonies, all kinds of ceremonies out there. Every Friday and Saturday, we have live music under the gazebo.
Beautiful.
Sit under those huge, beautiful pecan trees by the creek, listen to music, have a glass of wine.
Nice.
Doesn't get any better.
So real quick, I want to give a quick shout out to Brandy, our fellow podcaster at Texas Wine and True Crime. If you want to know more about the eyeball killer that John's talking about, listen to the episode that was published on September 29th of 2021.
Same episode, same killer.
Yep.
That's
Eyeball
wow.
There you go.
That's amazing. Wow.
There you
that's
go.
incredible.
Had Brandy out here. We've done a number of podcasts. And like I said, a number of television shows out here at Cassaro.
Sure.
So
That's really cool.
Yeah, give it a listen.
Well, now I got to throw in a little personal thing here. So up in Alaska, Butcher Baker, of course, was a serial killer up there. Walt Gilmore was an old friend, a family friend of ours. You know, he wrote the book Butcher Baker, actually.
Yes.
Amazing, man. And it was just amazing. So were you involved in that investigation?
No, I wasn't involved in that investigation, but in my time in Alaska,
Yes.
I've become very, very familiar with that.
Yes, sir.
And in that whole case and everything, done a ton of work with the Alaskan state troopers up there, and just really loved that relationship over the last over a decade now that I've been working with the troopers and law enforcement agencies all throughout the state of Alaska.
Wow.
But that is a very fascinating case, how he got away with it, and his persona as a businessman.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and as a church leader.
Yeah.
And he was a pure sociopath and got away with it for a very long time.
Yeah.
So
And-
those are the kind of cases that I feature. Unique, different,
Intriguing,
a little
yes.
twist to
Yes.
it.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. So when you're on these law enforcement trips, do people bring up the wine industry with you? Surely they know who you are now. I bet there's a great conversation that you have with these folks around the country, in addition to law enforcement. They probably are interested in what you're doing as an entrepreneur.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. And, you know, because as I travel, folks that have seen me on CNN, on Fox, on BBC, seen the work I've done in law enforcement, now know about kind of the wine side of it and the wine
Nice.
career.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I'm out talking about law enforcement. What do they want to talk about? Wine. That's what they want to know. They want to know about wine. They want to know about grape growing. They want to know about that. So it really is, a nice, refreshing kind of treat that sometimes we're talking about really bad things, and they say, hold on a second, we want to talk about your winery. Or usually they ask, did you bring wine?
Did you bring wine?
The number one question I get as I'm traveling around the country is, did you bring wine?
Well,
So I
John
say,
probably knows people.
You got to come
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
Texas.
he probably knows people very well. He knows how to read people, but he probably read my thoughts when I thought about him traveling. Does he take wine with him? Was my thought. You read my mind, didn't you?
Yes,
You
yeah.
knew I was going there.
And every once in a while I do. Actually, I bought a wine suitcase
Yes.
that holds an entire case.
Wow.
So yes,
full case.
when we're on big trips, as a matter of fact, we actually brought a bunch of wine up to a private reception we did in Washington D.C. for a bunch of presidential appointees, and so that was really nice. Nice to bring the wine up there and do that. But yes, I travel with the wine
Yes, sir.
because I get asked about it all the time. The
Well,
cops want to know.
The cops want to know. Yeah. Law enforcement, mayors, and political figures, of course, they want to know about wine, right? Good.
Well, I didn't know there was such thing as a wine suitcase until I met Michael.
That's right.
And we went to Fredericksburg, and he brings this extra suitcase. I'm like, what is this? He goes, this is my suitcase for just the wine. I was like,
Well, when I travel to Washington State, I have to bring wine home, right?
yeah.
When I travel down to see my friend John, I have to bring wine home. So of course I need a suitcase.
You have a suitcase and you travel a lot like me. You're not charged for the suitcase anyway. And it's wonderful. It literally is padded. It's made for an entire case of wine. And so
that's
really
mine is
well.
3. Well, mine is 5. Will I have 5 in mine?
Yeah,
He
now
has
I've
12.
got the big
He's
boy.
got the
I've
bad
got
boy.
the big
Okay, I
boy.
want
He's
to
earned it. He's earned that, right? Yeah, he's earned it. Well, tell us about so I wrote down here your second location is actually kind of a new location, if that's correct. So tell us about that a little bit more elaborately. Your son is running it down there. I think Michael.
Michael,
great
yep.
name. Yeah. And then tell us when both those locations are open for our listeners so they can come see you guys. When are those available?
Well, let's start with Ovilla. We're about 21 minutes from downtown Dallas, and we're just off of I-35. So if you're in Frisco, Plano, McKinney, that is a huge audience of ours.
Okay.
They hop on the tollway. They hop on 75. They're down here in a very, very short order. Matter of fact, we had folks say, oh my gosh, it was 40 minutes. We're used to driving all the way to the hill country.
Uh-huh.
Now we're sitting out here under these beautiful pecan trees, listening to music and drinking great wine. So really convenient for our friends in North Dallas, Arlington, Fort Worth, 30, 40 minutes from almost anywhere in the Metroplex to get here to the winery right off of Ovilla Road in 35.
Beautiful.
Corsicana is right off of I-45. It's in downtown, in historic downtown. It's in a historic building, as I said, built in 1871. Beautiful wine cellar atmosphere downstairs. We have live music downstairs some days down there. They're open Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in Corsicana. We had a day here in Ovilla, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday here in Ovilla.
Right.
Corsicana has been a great location. We've been open about a year. The city has been wonderful. Amazing event space. I wish so many times I've said, if I could pick up that building and take it and drop it right next to us, it would be perfect. Upstairs, we've had 60 plus people at True Crime and Wine upstairs.
Oh, that's wow.
We can seat over 70, 75 people. We've got about a 30-foot bar upstairs.
Wow.
Plus, I made it our wine club area. Beautiful, nice leather couches and chairs. Our wine club members can go up there, relax, and enjoy. And if that's not good enough, we have about a 3,000 square foot paved courtyard and stage adjacent to the building. We've got indoor space, outdoor space, and we hold a lot of events down there, weddings, receptions.
John, how long have you been doing this? I'm sorry. How long has this been happening?
We opened this in 2019.
That is ridiculous.
Wow.
Oh, that is
Tasting
awesome.
room.
I'm extremely impressed with all the things you've accomplished in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
A blink in one's life, and you've really got some in 2 locations things happening. You got to feel very good about that.
Oh yeah. I'm very proud, and I'm glad the boys do a fantastic job. Again, having your sons, they can step up, come in, run the place, really care about it, be passionate about what they're doing. That is really, really a blessing.
That is
good.
That is definitely a blessing right there. I mean, again, one of the things that we hear from all the different wineries and winemakers is one thing: family. Everybody steps in within the family and does something within the environment to push it to the next level and then to the next phase or whatever you want to call it. Family always steps in and helps that out. And that's amazing.
And if those boys are anything like John, they probably are high energy and bringing the troops in for some fun wine tasting experiences as well, right?
They love you. I love watching Joseph do a wine tasting here.
Okay.
I mean, he's great at it. He is very, very personable, and he will have them laughing and enjoying it. And they're just doing a tasting, and then they can stay for glasses, bottles, whatever. Michael is great with the entertainment down in Corsicana and really bringing the people in and booking event space, connecting with the community to say, come on in. We've got this great space. Come enjoy it. We love it. So, if you're a realtor group, they come there, have monthly meetings. So we have all kinds of groups that utilize our space. And I think it's the boys and their personality that invite them in and say, come enjoy it.
But they're
Nice.
fun. Like if I work for you, you'd be a great person to work for because you're high energy. You seem extremely positive. You have a vision. You know how to work hard. You know how to be, change clothes 4 times a day. Right. And so imagine those boys are all like that. But that is inviting as an entrepreneur or a business owner. You want to be around that atmosphere.
Right.
So you've done a great job and your boys are following suit. That's very
awesome.
cool. So you have a great wine club. Tell us about that wine club real quick for our listeners. And then do you ship wines as well?
Yes, we ship wines to all but I think 7 states. So 43 states we ship to. Our wine club is growing all the time. We have a 2-bottle club and a 4-bottle club. We have wine club pickup parties July, October, January, and April. So 4 times a year. And we do everything we do at Cassaro centers on our wine club.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about our extended family. We've gone to wine club members' weddings and funerals. And that's how close we get.
That's cool.
And we have events for our wine club members all the time. When we have our lobster truck out here, we open 3 hours early just so our wine club members don't have to wait in line. And we'll have a private concert for them during that 3 hours. We do private jazz concerts, steel drum concerts. We do wine pairings, wine tastings. I even had one time with a bunch of our wine club members. I said, hey, I'm about to release this wine. I'm not going to tell you how I blended it, but we sat around the table, about 20 people, and I gave them beakers and I gave them different wines. And I said, try to blend it like me. So all kinds of fun, neat things that we do with our wine club.
That would be a lot of fun.
That would be fun to do.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to this little lobster truck you talked about.
If you mentioned food, Will's in.
No, we have food trucks out here, frequently. And we serve, like I said, we're constantly coming up with new things in the kitchen and bringing it out to the wine club members and saying, hey, I don't know. I enjoy crostini. You know what crostini is? It's crostini in Italian in English is little toast.
Okay.
So it's like a little toast and you serve it with cheese.
Sure. Okay. We've had it.
And then prosciutto, salmon, fig. So all kinds of things on the crostini. We'll bring it out to our wine club members and say, we're thinking about introducing this. What do you think?
There you go.
What do you like? That type thing. And we try to do that with everything we introduce. Pizzas, whatever, the charcuterie board. If we're adding different boards, adding different foods, we'll just come out here and go, hey guys, who's in the wine club? Raise your hand. Everybody in the wine club, munch, eat.
Well, I'm going to raise my hand. Whether I'm
That's
not
a great philosophy, though. Well, yeah, it's a test run, and why not do it on the people you love and admire, and they love and admire you? So why not test it on them? At least you'll get some real feedback, I'd imagine. So
they're going to be honest and you say, oh my gosh, we love this salmon.
Yeah.
Well, of course you do. I have flown in from Alaska.
There you go.
Right?
Wow.
I love I am an Alaskan salmon snob. Let me
yeah.
tell you.
It's the best of the best in the whole world.
It is the best.
Copper River salmon.
Yep. It is absolutely the best.
So what I'm going to need you to do for me then, I'm going to need a salmon steak with some mushroom risotto to go with it.
There you go. Well, you're teasing about that, but so we do a lot of wine pairings, and we'll do chocolate and wine. I'll bring in 5 chocolates from Tuscany.
Oh,
Best chocolatier in Italy. 5 chocolates, 5 wines. And if that's not decadent enough, I prepare a mascarpone and fresh berry dessert and top it with a chocolate and red wine reduction. How do you like that? That's what we do for our wine club.
okay. So I'm
my
just going to say
mouth's
this.
watering.
The podcast is over. I'm going to need you to get in the kitchen.
Well, and my wife Erica sit behind me as soon as you talked about chocolate and wine and from Tuscany. I pointed at her because she loves that. Is such a perfect thing for her. Well, John, we appreciate everything. So go ahead and wrap it up. What do you want to talk about? Your vision, things that are happening. What are you mostly excited about? And how can we help serve our listeners by getting them information? What do you want to showcase right now?
We just want folks to come visit us both in Ovilla and Corsicana, the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Easy drive down here to Ovilla, Corsicana, straight down 45. But we got folks to come in from Waco, Hillsboro, Fairfield, Richland Chambers folks that are up for the weekend. Enjoy the Corsicana location. Right now, I think we're really featuring our True Crime and Wine. That series has really taken on a life of its own. We have literally hundreds of people that come from all over to attend our True Crime and Wine sessions, and they get into it and they enjoy it and they ask questions and they're trying to profile these killers. I even made up audience profiling sheets that I hand out, and then they take them and take them home and they listen to their favorite podcast or they watch their favorite television show and they get a little bit closer to that crime by profiling with it. So our true crime and wine, that's really, really popular, but just have people come out, experience Cassaro, drink our wines, enjoy some time, visit and love it.
I've absolutely enjoyed this interview. It's been really uplifting. I'm just glad that you have found another great passion in your life outside your family. Thank you for all you've done with law enforcement and then what you're doing now down here in south of Dallas, which is pretty cool. I'm just very, very pumped for you and your family and your future. So that's pretty cool. So
right quick before we end this first segment, tell our listeners how they can find you online.
Find us online at CassaroWines.com. CassaroWines.com is the website. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, all the social media platforms, Cassaro Winery and Cassaro Winery Corsicana.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
And that's Cassaro. Is that correct? I'm covering my notes. Okay. Well, John, thank you, sir. Appreciate your energy. Appreciate your interview. And it's just been a lot of fun.
Hello, all you WKT listeners. This is Will. I first want to say how much we love our listeners and the feedback we get from you all. The one big feedback we get is how you all enjoy our educational part of the show. With that being said, unfortunately, this week's educational part did not happen. But fret not, we will be back next week with another segment of wine education. So, since we did not have an educational part of the show this week, I will at least give you your wine quote of the week. So with the heat that's going on, today's forecast is sunny with a chance of wine. And then I'm going to leave you with this from William Shakespeare. Fair thoughts, happy hours, attend to you. Cheers.